So yesterday, we discussed one of the important locators, that is CSS selector. 1 second. CSS selector, right? By using CSS. Okay, in CSS we have used so many methods, sub methods. Okay, basically CSS methods we have used. See, tag and ID. Okay, we use a tag and ID, right? Tag name, hash, ID. See, tag and ID we have used. And also tag and class. Tag and attribute. Tag and attribute. Tag, class and attribute. Tag, class and also attribute. So we use tag, class and attribute also somewhere. Okay, it is very simple. So if you want to specify more elements, okay, more, suppose the same thing you can write in two different ways. So simply you can use ID and the class you can define like this. ID you can okay, you can write the locator like this, ID and class. Okay, the same thing if you want to write, I remove this gender female, gender female class, this I remove, just put dot, again remove space and put dot, and you can write. This is attribute and its value. Okay, this entire thing we represented with this part. Okay, vice versa also you can write. First you can put class name, then put the ID. This is also fine. And substring matches. Substring matches. Did we use this substring matches? No, right? Substring matches we have used, yes. We are using symbols, cap symbol, dollar symbol, and star symbol, right? These are matches. This is matching if it is starting with US. It is matching with this entire text, right? Dollar also. It is matching with some value. Contains. It is pure matching. Wherever you have this US or option or US, it will matches and it will perform. And also we have discussed the other notations, skipping, writing multiple, more than one CSS path, writing more than one CSS path. Multiple also we have used. Then we have these many like types of options. Again, why I need Xpath? We have all these options. We are able to identify all the elements with the help of the CSS selector. So why again this Xpath is required? Why again this Xpath is required? Okay, so few elements we cannot identify with CSS also. Okay, so let me show it example like with some examples. So we have this page. Let me open with Google. Suppose if you want to identify last name, how you are identifying it? Last name I want to identify with CSS selector. How I am identifying? I am identifying with the help of CSS selector. We have written some notation, right? No, not here. Not here. Okay, let me write some CSS path to identify this, the last name. How I can write the CSS path? Okay, so I want to identify this input, last name input. How I need to write? Suppose if you put input tag name, if you want to specify ID, ID, name, class name, or any other property, you don't have any property here. What you can do? You can write body greater than, you are getting 10. Inside the 10, you can use nth hyphen of hyphen type, some fourth element it is. You will write like this. And also you can write nth child. You can nth child when you are using, it is giving the first name. You cannot use nth child again. Okay, it takes all the childs. Okay, not only a input, it also takes the other elements as consideration. We have other elements H3 label input, other elements. Fourth one is the first name input. So nth of type, see the difference. Nth of type. So here we are specifying this position, right? This position. Suppose if somebody added one more hidden input in the hierarchy, suppose if somebody is added some another input in the hierarchy, so that is the, again one more element will be added. This 4 will not work. You have to put the 5. Okay, suppose, so let me edit one more time to understand more. So let me put one more hidden element. Okay, so here where I have to put, so before, so this is my last name, right? So before last name, let me put one more hidden element. One more hidden element. Okay, so let me refresh it. If you use the same CSS path, it is not identifying the last name. So again, it is 5. Okay, then how I can proceed with that? How I can like overcome this problem? Okay, whenever some elements are hidden elements are available. Okay, how we can overcome from this problem? Okay, so, and also sometimes we can have some huge hierarchy. Okay, based on the hierarchy, if I want to identify some element, okay, in the forward direction or backward direction, so using CSS path we are performing only forward direction. Okay, I want to suppose let's take this full name input. Okay, for this full name, okay, you have the input. Before full name, you have this input. Full name label is there. Okay, and before full name you have input, right? So based on full name, how I can identify this element, input element, or based on last name, how I can identify the input element. Based on last name, how I can identify the input element. Based on the full name, how I can identify the input element. Okay, so to provide these options, we have Xpath. Okay, you can traverse from forward direction from last name to this input, and also if you want, you can traverse backward direction from full name to input. Okay, so here it is not possible in CSS selector. And also there are so many methods available in Xpath. In Xpath, there are so many useful methods. Using those methods, we can easily identify any element in a web page. We can easily identify with the Xpath. With like Xpath, using Xpath, we can identify any element. No need to use CSS selector also. If you understand Xpath well, you can identify any element. But the performance wise, coming to the performance wise, searching wise, see if it is try to identify some element in a web page, it has to search, right? Search in the document. So with the given ID or name, class name or tag name or link test or partial link test or with your CSS or XPath, it has to first search that element, then it will identify, right? For the searching purpose, okay, for the searching purpose, generally we have this order, for the performance, searching performance. If you use ID, it can identify very faster. Okay, next level is name. If you use name after ID, okay, name will have the good performance for searching. Similarly, this is the order of the usage. If you are having some unique ID, do not use Xpath or CSS. Go with the ID because for identifying this element, it works very fast. Okay, so if you are able to identify with CSS, then do not use Xpath because CSS gives the good performance for searching, not Xpath. Okay, Xpath takes little bit time. You cannot see the difference when you are writing small programs. If you have some like hundreds of modules, hundreds of functions, if you are writing some code for hundreds of modules and hundreds of functions, that time whenever you are like executing entire your test automation test cases as a suite, some hundred set of test cases if you are performing the execution, that time it gives the difference, the usage difference. Okay, the performance also, a good programmer always thinks about the performance of a program. Okay, don't blindly write some program. We have also need to think for the performance of our program. Okay, suppose you write some program for execution, it is taking some 5 minutes. Somebody implemented the same program, it is executing within 1 minute. Okay, the preference will give to the other person, right? Not for you. Okay, so whenever we are writing some program, so we have to think all possible ways, then only we have to move forward. Okay, so if you are unable to identify with the CSS, we have also one more option. Using Xpath, you can access anything. Using Xpath, you can access any element. But coming to performance wise, we have to follow this order. Okay, while in interview also they will ask you, okay, first which one you will give the preference. Okay, you have to remember this order. But in real time, most of the time, everyone uses Xpath. Okay, but try to follow this order. Okay, now how we can use the Xpath? How we can use Xpath in our Selenium locators? Okay, see. First, if you want to start with the Xpath, first you need to understand what is Xpath. Xpath. Basically, Xpath is a XML path. Okay, so before implementing this XPath, okay, so earlier they used this XPath for the XML files, .xml files. Okay, there also, okay, basically XML file will be, let me show you one example for XML file, so that you will get some clarity. Selenium all. txt, wait, not this one. XML. So let me open some training. Yeah, so let me open test engine. Yes, this is the XML file. Let me open it. See, if you observe here, this is the test XML file. Okay, the name can be anything. This is the .xml file. Okay, so here also you can see some hierarchical notation. See, hierarchy. Okay, hierarchy means, so this is the suit. Inside that we have one element, test element, which means the path to go to the test. What is the path? From suit to test. Okay, you cannot directly go to text. If you want to enter to text, you have to pass through the suit. Okay, so if you want to provide the relation between suit and test, so we have to call this suit as a parent and test as a child, because it is inside the suit. If you expand the test, you have again 1, 2, 3, three different, basically 4. This commented one it will not consider. Okay, you have only three elements, 3 children to the test. Okay, if you want to navigate to some parameter, you have to pass through suit, test, then parameter. This is the path. Suit, test, parameter is the path. Okay, so if you want to go to the groups, suit, test, groups, and if you want to go to the run, suit, test, groups, run. Again, if you want to go to the include, what is the path? Suit, test, groups, run, and include. Okay, this is the hierarchy. Okay, so the path which is representing to go to some element is a X path. Basically, earlier it is implemented for XML files. Okay, so HTML file also having the same notation. If you observe here, our HTML file, this automation file, also having the same notation. It has some tags inside that there are two children. Inside body, again you have one more children. Select. If you expand select, you have different children. If you want to go to option, how you have to go? HTML, body, select, and option. Okay, let me write the same thing. HTML slash body slash select slash option. Body. This is body. Okay. So there are some elements. There are some 10 elements. So if you observe the hierarchy, with the same option, here we have 5, and also we have one more. This is also in the same. Yeah. One more select. Inside that there are 5 options. Okay. With the same path, we have 10 elements. It is showing. Okay. If you want to go to some elements, okay, based on the hierarchy, okay, you can use the XML path notation, Xpath notation. Okay, so Xpath is derived from the XML path. Earlier they used it to use for XML files. They are also using for the, we can also use it for this locating the element. Okay, instead of writing this entire path, okay, so if you take the real-time applications, so let me take one website. Let me open Amazon only. Amazon. Okay, so let me go to some, these are all divisions, right? See, everything, each one is one division, this white color. Okay, so by looking at the page only, okay, so we have to like understand what type of element it is. Okay, let me go to some Amazon app download, no. Sell, okay, inspect it. Okay, so now I want to identify this A element, anchor tag. Okay, so if you want to write a path, from where you need to start, this is HTML body. Inside the body, there are different divs. This is one div. Okay, let me. Okay, again you have one div. Inside that again there are different tags. You have one more div. Inside that again you have one more div. Again you have one more div. This is one more div and UL another list and a list. Then A. Suppose you have options also to copy path. See, this is the path for this element. Okay, we should not copy and paste this path to identify this element. Okay, we should not follow this. See, basically, if you use any like add-ins like Firebug, okay, or CrowPath, these kind of tools, auto generators, path generators, Xpath generators, CSS path generators. Okay, if you use those will give unnecessary elements also in the path. We should not trust those. We should not trust those. CSS also will have some, I think. So we have to see copy path, copy full path also is there. Copy selector, copy outer HTML, copy JS path. Okay, let me copy one by one. So this is full path. HTML body, div, UL, LI, A. Okay, shortcut path also it is giving X path. This is the shortcut path, little bit. We can reduce like anything, this one. Okay, no need to use this also. We can reduce it. So we have some JS path. Let me copy and paste here. See, JS path. It is a CSS path. If you observe here, this is a CSS notation. Copy this, paste here. See, you are able to identify CSS path. By looking at that notation only, you have to understand, right? CSS path. But do we need to use this CSS path, XPath as it is auto-generated? No, we should not use. Okay, we have to learn by our own how to write, and we have to minimize this. We have to minimize this path. We should not write this much lengthy CSS paths or X paths. Okay, lengthy CSS path or X paths. Okay, now how we can start with the X path to identify the element. Okay, there are so many benefits. Okay, if you are unable to identify with the CSS selector, okay, if you want to traverse the document in a backward direction or forward direction, so we have to choose the X path. Okay, so while you are implementing the X path, so there are some notations we have to follow. What are those notations? So basically, X path is a XML path. Okay, using which we can traverse any document, any documents. So example .xml, HTML, .xml or .html. Most of the time we use XML path for these files. Okay. So now, basically XPath is two types. One is absolute XPath. Another one is relative XPath. Absolute XPath and relative XPath. What is absolute XPath? What is absolute? What is relative? Absolute is nothing but complete path. Complete path. Relative is nothing but shortcut path. Shortcut and complete. Shortest path and complete path. Okay. So whenever you are writing some complete path, that we call it as a absolute path, absolute X path. Okay. For example, when you are copying here, it is showing copy full path. Full path means complete path. So complete path always starts with the HTML tag. Okay, HTML body. Inside that they have it is having some div. Okay, you can remove one also. Again, inside that there are some more divs, 4 divs. That is the reason it is showing as 4. Inside that you have one div, first div, and inside again you have one more div. Again you have 5 divs. So fifth one it is taking. Then it is coming to this element. So this is called complete path. Okay, from starting node to ending node, from root node to your required node, you have to specify one by one level. Okay, in absolute X path, okay, we have to start writing the path from root node. Root node. What is the root node for our HTML file? The root node is HTML only, right? For any HTML file, the root node will be HTML only. This is HTML. Okay. So if you want to identify some element in this HTML page, so you have to follow absolute X path. Absolute X path like HTML. Again, you cannot jump into some other element. Okay, you have to follow body. Inside the body, as per our example, I want to identify the select element. Sorry, option element. Any one option element. This, as per our example, first option element in first select. HTML. See the hierarchy. Body. You should not come to the header section because these two are in same level. Head and body are in same level. Okay, you can directly come to body. You should not go to header. Okay, there is no need. HTML body. Inside the body, you have select. Again, write select. Then you have option. Option. You have to write the path like this. Right? What is the shortcut path? Then this is the complete path. What is the shortcut path? Okay, shortcut path is if you want to go to option, direct slash option. It is a shortcut path. How I can use the shortcut path in that way? Okay, so if you want to write the full path, full absolute path, okay, we have to separate, we have to separate nodes, nothing but elements with single slash symbol. See, like this. But in shortcut path, okay, we have to start, or we can start the path from any node, not from the root node, from any node. For example, option is one node. You can directly use this node. Okay, but we have to separate the nodes with symbol double slash. Not every time. We have to not separate. Start the node with double slash symbol. / symbol. For example, if you want to identify option, earlier when you use option like this, you are getting 10 elements, right? Same thing, if you want to write the shortcut path, delete it, / option. Again, you are getting 10. See, again, you are getting 10 elements. Okay. So like this, you can minimize the path also. How I can differentiate the elements here? Here I have different elements. How I can differentiate the elements? To differentiate the elements, we have so many methods. Sometimes we have to backtrack the elements. Backtracking means, okay, so from here, option element, I want to select this select box. How I can backtrack? So you are on option, this option, right? If you want to go back to the select, which means backtracking. If you want to move forward, move to some other element, that is forward tracking. Backtracking and forward tracking. Backward traversing and forward traversing. Okay, traversing the document. So we have so many methods. What are those? We'll discuss. Okay, first we compare. First we compare CSS selector and Xpath. Then we will go to the other methods. Okay, so most 99.9% we use relative Xpath. We don't use the absolute Xpath. 99.9, that 0.1% also we don't use. Okay, we use relative Xpath only. Okay, so whatever I'm explaining now, those are related to relative Xpath. Okay, so suppose let me compare with CSS selector for better understanding purpose. So where is our CSS? So day 5 class notes, CSS selector, this one. Okay, if you want to use only tag name, okay, only tag name and tag name property, forward traversing, how to do. Okay, first of type, how to take, nth of type, how to take. Okay, all these again, tag and ID if you want to use, how you can use. Okay, class name if you want to use, how you can use, we'll see. Okay, if you want to use these methods, okay, because which covers everything, right? It also covers all these CSS related topics. Along with that, it covers some extra topics. Okay, that is the advantage with Xpath. Okay, it can cover CSS related notation as well as extra topics also it will cover. Okay, first, if you want to use only tag name, okay, let me copy one by one here from here. Then we can move to the new things. If I want to use only tag name, you can use / tag name. Example, just now we have seen. Now I want to use tag name and property. Tag name and property. Okay, how we can use tag name and property, / tag name. We have to use the same square brackets. We have to use the same notation we can copy from here. And we can paste here. But you have to put a /. And before property name, we have to put the @ symbol. Okay, this is the Xpath. Example, you can copy the same from here. Here we can put / select, which is containing @ID. Like this we have to write Xpath. Okay, so again, forward traversing if you want to do. Okay, so if you want, you can write more than one property also. Okay, this is important. This is important, very, very important. There is some difference if you want to write more than one property value. Okay, so here @ property name. So no need to specify two different boxes. What you can do is you can remove two boxes and you can put directly under method. Okay, you can directly use under method instead of writing two separate boxes. Here you can use under method @property and value. Okay, so the same thing you can write. Let me take some example. Okay, which is having, see, suppose this select box is having name and ID. Okay, if I want to use more than one attribute and its value, okay, select @ID equals to, you can put single quotes or double quotes, country 1 2 3 4 5, and I want to mention one more property, and you can put the property name. You have to specify with and equals to the property name, country select. See, you can use like this. Two different properties you can separate with and. And also you can use. This is one example. Okay, so this is for and more than one property. I want to use or condition or or. We don't have this option in CSS select. The same thing you can write instead of and, you can write or also. The same example I can use to identify that element or. Whenever it is able to identify with and, whenever able to identify with the first element, it won't check for the next property. Okay, so here instead of and I can use or also. See, or also, with the help of or also I'm able to identify. But the problem is, so okay, so one by one you will get to know. Okay, or also we can use. And or. Properties specification. Are you able to follow my class? Is it understandable or not? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's same similar to what we have discussed, the same similar way, but notation is changing. Okay, before property you are putting the @. Okay, property name, before property name you are just specifying the @ and also double slash.
Double quote is not mandatory for that.
That's what I am telling. Okay, see, whenever you start with the relative Xpath, root node or other node is not required. You can, wherever you want, from there you can start. If you want to identify select element, just start with the select element, double slash select, then specify its attributes and values. If you want to identify its child element, you can start with child element, or you can start with child element, or you can start with its parent, then you can come to child. How to come, I will explain. Okay, so first we cover all these things. Forward traversing. So here it will be covered. Forward traversing. So here what you are doing, some tag name, property, and then you are going to its child. Then you are going to its child. Okay, if you want to jump to some subchild, okay, you are using some space. Skip the hierarchy. If you want to skip the hierarchy, you are putting some space. Okay, how to cover these two, we will discuss. Okay, so here now.
No, what I must.
Yeah, tell me.
The property value.
Your voice.
The property value putting single quote is.
Property value is putting in single quote.
The property value.
Okay.
You putting single.
Single
double quote is not mandatory. I must.
It is not mandatory for CSS.
Yeah.
Also. CSS property also it is not mandatory. CSS also we are not using double quote. Okay, you can put a single quote also. You can put single quote or double quote. Anything is fine. single quote or double quote, you can use. While explaining also, I'm always telling you can put single quote or double, not a double quote or not single quote. It is not mandatory to use single quote or double quote. But while you are writing Java code, there you will understand, okay, whether you to use single quote or double quote. There you will understand, but prefer to use single quotes. Double quotes also you can use. Prefer to use single quotes. You can use single quotes and double quotes. Anything is fine, but use single quotes only. If you don't use single quotes, you will get some issues. Those I will explain while explaining the program. Okay. You can use single quotes or double quotes. Okay. You can use and or. So let me take forward traversing. So in forward traversing, what we are doing, some input. Okay. So here, why mentioned this here? I think this should not be here. Okay, something like this we have to specify. Example. Okay, this is forward traversing. Okay, so let me copy this forward traversing to here. Forward traversing. Forward, only forward, not backward. Forward traversing. Okay, this is day 6. Day 6. Xpath. Let me store two documents of it. So if you want to do the forward traversing, okay, what you have to do is, so the same you can copy. So here, whatever we are using, the same thing we can copy here. Okay, double slash, tag name @ property name and its value. Instead of greater than symbol, what you have to do is you can put single slash. Single slash. Again, single slash. This is forward traversing. Okay, @ property name and value and tag. Okay, so for example, if I want to use the same example here, HTML option up to this option, how I can write? Just copy and paste this HTML body and select ID having something, right? So I have to start with some element. Okay, let me start with HTML only. Okay, HTML only. Slash body, slash select, @ID, @ID, and slash option. See, so you are getting 5 options. Okay, in Xpath, if you want to write that, you have to start with the double slash. Then, if you want to go to children, just to use slash. If you want to go to children, if you have to use the slash. Then body, for the body, slash child is select. Okay, start with double slash. If you want to go to child option, then you can use slash. Or simply you can say double slash. Wherever we want, from there we can start, right? Relative Xpath. I removed the previous hierarchy. The shortcut path I'm writing like this. Instead of using HTML or something else, we can also specify like this. Okay, you are starting from HTML. I want to skip some hierarchy. I want to skip this body. In the HTML page, some select is containing ID. In this case, you can put double slash. If you want to skip the hierarchy, double slash. If you put some element, double slash, inside that element, whatever the hierarchy is there, you can jump to some other element. Double slash select. So it will skip everything between HTML and this select. Okay, skip. That we will discuss again. Okay, as of now, let it be. Skipping the things. Next, go to first of type, last of type, and nth of type. Here, we don't have first of type, last of type, and nth of type methods. We have one method, position method. Okay, to cover all these three, we have position method. Not all these three, it's like a nth of type. Position. Okay, what is the position? It is a method. It is a method. Okay, so I'm writing in the Java format. It is a method. When we say method, it accepts some arguments, right? Or without arguments also it works. Methods with argument and without argument we are writing, right? So without argument also it works. So now position method. Okay, if you want to identify based on the index, here when I use this one, I'm getting how many I'm getting? 5 options I'm getting, right? If I want the first option, okay, so there are two notations. Okay, you can use position or you can use index. If you use, you can use direct index if you want first index. Okay, so one is index. This is not method. Okay, index is not method. Whenever we specify with parenthesis, then it is a method. You can specify like this. Okay, what are the index you want to specify? Specify like that. Position. The same thing if you want to represent with position, you can use position method in the square brackets. Remove one. Position is a method equals to 1. Okay, it gets the position of that element. All positions it gets. Basically, all positions it gets. Whatever the position it has 1, that will compare and it will give you the access. Position method. Okay, if you want to put the syntax, so let me put some syntax. For index also, I will put some syntax. This is example. Okay, property name we are using, property value, then tag name, then index. Index. Index always start with 1. Okay, for arrays, collections and all, it start with 0 for string array and collections. But for Xpath, it always starts with 1. Index always starts with 1. Okay, the same thing if you want to write here with position, the same only. Nothing is difference. You can use position method. Okay, so then if tag is some having ID, we don't have shortcut for this. We have to use attribute as it is. We don't have any shortcut to use this. Some class is there, we don't have any shortcut. We have to use like same ID we are using. Similarly, we have to use @ class. Then we have to use the value, class and its value. We don't have ID and class related things. Okay, shortcuts we don't have. To use hash and dot, we don't have option. So now we have partial property value. Yes, we have for partial property value, we have method. We have methods. For partial property value, we have methods. Okay. This is dollar start with. This is dollar ends with. Star contains, right? So here, everything we represent with, we don't use any symbols basically. Here we don't use any symbol. To represent with, start with, or ends with or contains, we have methods. Starts hyphen with is a method. Ends hyphen with is a method. In Xpath, we have methods only because it is derived from the XML path. Okay. So contains is a method. Okay. So start with always accepts two arguments. Ends with also accepts two arguments. And contains also accepts two arguments. Okay, when we say two arguments means this method becomes what? How we have to represent this method? Tell me, somebody tell me. arg1, arg2, right? Similarly, ends with also accepts two arguments and contains also accepts two arguments. Okay, so argument. What is argument 1 and argument 2? Argument 1 and argument 2. So here argument can be arg1 can be value or method. Okay, and argument 2 should be value. Okay, argument 1 can be value or method. Argument should be value. Okay, so most of the time start with we use not only we can use argument or method. So how I can use these start with, end with, and contains method? Okay, let me start with method. Start with. Okay, let me copy the syntax. It is better for understanding. Start with. What it will do? Syntax is start hyphen with. Okay, here at the rate property name comma single quotes property value. Okay, property partial value. Also you can give. Okay, ends with also will do, it will do the same. Ends with. Same notation. Property name and its value. We have one more syntax to use start with. We can use method name, method and value. Method and value. Similarly, for ends with also we can use method and value. And we have contains. Contains two arguments. Okay, property name and property value, or method and its value can specify. Okay, where we use property name and method like this contains method. Okay, the basic syntax is double slash, okay, tag name, square brackets. So here you use start with method. Or here you use method and value. Okay, it is applicable for both ends and also contains. Contains. And this is also contains. Okay. For example, so as per our coding, okay, in the previous example only we'll take, or we can take that contains all these things. Where it is unable to click. Okay. So for example, so whatever we are using in the CSS selector, the same example only we will take. Okay. So here option class US, right? So this is we are using, right? Suppose if you want to use start with method for your option, it is identifying one element. Same thing if you want to use with Xpath / starts with, okay, property name @class, two arguments you need to pass, comma, argument value, okay, and ends with parentheses. So better to use single quotes instead of double quotes, both will work. See, you can use this example. Okay, this is starts with, okay, not okay, starts with only. Okay, examples. Okay, similarly ends with. See here the, okay, so let me copy CSS selector here from here. This is ends with, right? But unfortunately, from latest browsers, ends with is removed. It is a deprecated method. It is not in use. It is not in use. Ends with. But if you want to write, you can write like this. Okay, that is a deprecated method. We cannot use ends with. Okay, from earlier we have browser 2.x version browser. Okay, Xpath 2.x version browser, but it is not available now. Okay, but it is better to know. We don't use anywhere, but it is better to know. You can use like this, ends with, okay, @ here you have to put @ name and option. It is not in use. No one are using, and also it is deprecated and removed. Same contains. If you want to use the contains, so what are the options we have? Contains. If you want to use the contains, / contains method. Contains @ name and its value contains some value. Parenthesis. See, contains method. So you can use the contains method like this. Example. Okay. So what about method then? What is this method? What is this method then? Okay, if you want to use method, okay, so we have text method. Text method. What is this text method? If you want to identify some element with its text, suppose for option is having some text, right? In first day only I told, if any text bounded between opening tag and closing tag, that we call it as text. For suppose you have Google button, right? By looking at this, it is appearing like a text, but it is not text, it is a value. Okay, we should not call Google as a text. Okay, it is not text basically, because it has only one element. There is no closing tag for this. It is not bounded between opening and closing. Whatever the text is bounded between opening and closing, that we can call it as text. Okay, so here link has some text, this span has some text. Okay, span has some text. Similarly, these options are having some texts. It is between opening and closing tag, that we call it as text. If you want to identify some tag with its text, we have text method. Text equals to, you can specify that text, suppose Canada. Okay, this method we can use in the Xpath only. Okay, / option text equals to Canada. See, with the same Canada options, we have two elements. There are two list boxes, right? Two elements. Okay, you can use text method like this. Text method. Syntax / tag name text method equals to text value. Okay, so this text, if you want to use the partial text to identify the element, if you want to use the partial text to identify the element, you can use contains, ends with, or start with. Contains, ends with, or start with. So for our understanding, what I do is I remove this from here. And I put here text method. Okay, so now you can use that text method in start with. Okay, you can use ends with, we can use, and also we can use that contains method. Okay, so let me convert this into contains text. C should be small. All methods start with small letters. Contains text. Okay, text method is one argument and also its text. See, you are able to identify the element using method also. Here also starts with. Starts icon with Canada. There are two elements again. Okay. Similarly, ends with also it will do the same. But it is not in use. Ends with. Text contains some value. For suppose if you take the link in our web page, this link. If you want to identify with some partial text, okay, it is a text, right? / anchor tag starts with text. It's a text. Value some Raju Chelle. Okay, so it is identifying this text contains. Instead of starts with, I can also use contains. Contains. Contents also you can use. It is containing, or you can use just a chili. Yes, it is identifying. You can use contents. For contents, you can use like this. Ends with. And how it is ending? It is ending with this particular junk text, right? You can specify that. Ends with. Okay, it is not identifying now because the ends with is not in use. Like this, you can identify the element. What else we have in CSS selector? Okay, here we have seen one new method, that is text, right? With the help of element text also, we are able to identify the elements, right? We don't have this option in the CSS selector or any other method. Okay, this is one new option. So now, more than now, if you want to any tag, okay, any tag, this is also we can use. Any tag also we can use in Xpath. How to use it? Any tag. If you want to use any tag, you can again use the star. Copy the same examples. So here, HTML body. Okay, so same thing you can write double slash, again slash, again slash, at the rate ID, and option. And instead of using indexes, you can use position. Position equals to, position is a method, equals to 1 or 3. See. Okay, to minimize the path. So here instead of using tag name, we are using the star. Okay, to minimize the path, what we can do? You can directly start with double slash, right? So you can put directly double slash and star. See, it is identifying one element only, first element. It is identifying. You can minimize the path like this. Or you can directly, okay, so we require, so we cannot directly put double slash star, we cannot put double slash star. If you put, it gives some random element. Some random element it is giving. You are not specifying any index. The position in the HTML document, whatever is there in the position 3, okay, in the body document, it is taking from that element. Okay, whenever we use double slash, it will directly go to body section. Do remember one thing. Okay, so let me put that into here, symbol, and it starts with body section, not HTML. Body section starts from. Okay, you can use star also. Okay, so if you want to skip some hierarchy, so here instead of body, you can specify star. If you are not sure about some element, you can use star to skip the element. Okay, what else we have? Skip the hierarchy. Skip the hierarchy. Yeah, how to use skip the hierarchy? Okay, if you want to skip the hierarchy from here only, I want to skip some hierarchy. What I can do is, okay, instead of specifying body, what you can do? you can use double slash. It is giving the same element. If you want to skip the hierarchy, double slash is to skip the hierarchy. If you are writing double slash means you are skipping some hierarchy. Skip the hierarchy. Okay, so the same thing you can write. How you can write is, so I have HTML double slash. You will get two, because to differentiate select, okay, we are not using anything, right? So in both the select statements, in the both the select boxes, it is taking those two options. You can skip hierarchy like this. Not only start with HTML, you can start with any node, and in between your destination element, whatever the element you are trying to identify, okay, that comes as a last one. Okay, last one. Last one will be your required element, the element which you are looking for. You can use skip the hierarchy like this. Okay. Okay, more than one CSS path like that. We have more than one XPath if you want to use in a single element. For a single element, more than one XPath if you want to use. Yes, that also you can use. Okay, how we can use? I want to identify the element with this position 3. It is identifying. Okay, or if you are unable to identify with or, suppose let me put 0. Am I able to identify? No, right? Position 0, there is no. In position 0, there is no element. Or position 5 or 6, there is no element. If you want to use one more XPath to identify the element, either this XPath or this XPath, you can use like this. Two XPaths you can use. More than one XPath also you can use to write your XPath or symbol. And symbol generally we don't use. If you use and, if it is not identified, it won't identify, right? It won't identify. If you are not identifying this, then it won't identify this one. If it is true and this is true, then this entire thing will become true in the under condition. Or condition only we will use. Okay, here also in CSS also, here this is comma means or condition. This comma means or condition, not and. And we don't use. And for and both should be true, then only it will be true. Or only we use. Okay, did we cover everything? Okay. So now what are the other advantages? Okay, we have seen one advantage is text. Then what are the other advantages? Okay, the other advantages are, so let me complete in this class only. Okay, so I will take 15 more minutes max. Okay, we have XPath access methods. XPath access methods. To traverse the document, in bidirectional. Bidirectional means forward and backward. Forward and backward direction. Bidirectional. Okay, we have XPath access methods. To traverse the document in bidirectional, we can use access methods. Okay, what are those access methods? See, whenever we are saying methods means, whenever we are saying method means it should contain parentheses, right? Okay, parent is a method. Before parent, we have ancestor is a method. Okay, ancestor. Child. Okay, we have sibling. Descendant. 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 And we have following sibling method. Preceding sibling is a method. Okay, all these are methods. Ancestor, parent, child, sibling, descendant, and also we have one more method. Following is a method. Okay, so these methods, okay, here no need to represent. These methods are, so we have one concept in Java that we have discussed also. Okay, that we have discussed also. Okay, so let me explain it one more time. Let me go to Java section and go to SRC. We have functional interfaces, right? Let me go here. Functional interfaces is fine. We have discussed one concept, built-in functional interfaces, that is fine. Method references we have discussed, right? Method references. Where are those? String reflection, polymorphism, streams, inner classes, inheritance. Okay, let me open one by one. Built-in functional interfaces, these are fine. Somewhere I have explained method references. Method references, yeah, yes. These are method references. Okay, so how to use these references? How to use these references? Suppose, let me take streams example, IO streams. So in streams, not streams, collections we have discussed. Stream API. Here are collections. These are the collections. Suppose if you have list. So in list, okay, if you want to print some one by one number, we are using some for each method, right? This one we are using. This one we are using, right? For each loop. Okay, so let me print for each loop with print. I'm printing this. Okay, let me run this. Okay, to understand that concept. Okay, for each loop with print. Okay, here instead of using system.out.println, what I do is I remove system.print. Not working. One second. No. So what it is accepting? Consumer only, right? Is for each method. Okay, let me use stream for this. Stream dot for each what is accepting for each array iterator. So it should accept consumer basically. Okay, so let me do one thing. So let me remove this consumer, right? System dot print. It should work basically. Okay, where we can use system dot print? Let me check in Google. System print. We have some examples to use membership operator. System.out.println also, yeah, we can use like this. Okay, so out also we have to use. See, am I passing, okay, from the list, am I passing any value here? Okay, I'm not passing any value, but let's see. Let's run it, whether it is print with membership operator. This we call it as membership operator. Still it is printing values. Earlier you are passing like this, right? But you don't need to do that. So similarly, okay, to replace print method, okay, print how you are writing system.out.println dot print, you are putting brackets like this, right? Okay, bracket like this you are putting, and you are passing some value. Okay, the value you are passing. Instead of that, what we can do is we can remove the parentheses and we can replace this dot with membership operator. Similarly, whenever we have these methods we can replace with membership operator. Okay, we have to use in this format. These methods we have to use in this format. We cannot use directly like parentheses. These access methods we can use with membership operator. Okay, so now what is the use of these methods? Okay, so by looking at these names, what you understand? By looking at these names, what you understand? Ancestor, parent, child, sibling, following sibling, preceding sibling, following. What are these? See, these we can relate with the blood relations, right? In human relations. Okay, parent to child, your siblings, your descendants. Okay, if you have brothers and sisters, you can have those, we call it as siblings. Them we call it as siblings. And if we have elder brother, we call it as preceding sibling. Suppose if you somebody ask you how many brothers you have, elder or younger, like that they will call, right? So your elder brother, basically the terminology is preceding sibling. Preceding means before you, following means after you, following sibling, following anyone, any sibling. Okay, I have following 4 brothers, I have preceding 4 brothers. Descendant, suppose if you have grandchild, like that you can say descendant. Okay, sibling word we don't have. Child, we have child. Parent, ancestor means grandparent. These we can relate with blood relations, and also we can relate with our HTML or XML hierarchy. If you observe here, this is the HTML. HTML has 2 children. Okay, one children having some title and another children is having some other hierarchy for the HTML. For this HTML, there are two children, right? Head and body. For head, body is the following sibling. For body, head is the preceding sibling. For HTML, these two are siblings, right? And also for head, body is following. It can be sibling, okay? Following. You can also use following. Coming to body. So for HTML, H3 label input, all these are whatever we have inside this body. All these are descendants. Okay, all these are descendants, grandchildren. descendants are nothing but grandchildren. Ancestor is nothing but grandparent, grandfather or grandparent. All these are descendants. For body, H3 label input, all these are children. Again, coming to select also a children, right? Again, option is not a children, it is a descendant. But coming to option, parent is the select. Coming to option, body is the grandparent, which means ancestor. Okay, like that we have to compare the relations here. Okay, for label, H3 is the preceding sibling, input is the following sibling. Similarly, for BR, all 5 elements are preceding siblings, all these are following siblings. Okay?
Okay, I found this on the web file. Delete all.
Fine. So let me open one diagram. So you will get more clarity by looking at that. So this is the diagram. So you have to guide me here. Okay. So I have some nodes like HTML nodes. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 11 we have. Okay. So one is a main node. It has 2 and 4 are the children. For 4, 5, 6, 11 are the children. For 6, 7, 9, 10 are the children. For 7, 8 is the children. Again, yeah. So now if I want to go to from 1 to 8, what is the path? From 1 to 8. Let me open 1 to 8. What is the path? Tell me. What is the path to go to 8? 1 to 8. Somebody. Path 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, right? 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay? 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. Suppose if you are writing your path from 1. Okay, how you can write? How you can write the path? /1 / 4 / 6 / 7 / 8. Right? The same path, how you can write using access methods. You can start with 1 /. If you want to directly go to descendant, this 8 element, you can use descendant and you can specify 8. Okay, it will directly come to descendant 8, that name. Suppose if you want to come to 4th, then you want to go to 8. Okay, you can specify /1 / child membership operator child. For one child is 4, then / descendant 8. You can write like this. Okay, now I want to from 1 to 7 I want to come. 1 to 7 I want to come, then I want to take the 8. Okay, so now /1 7. What is the 7 for ancestor 1? It is a descendant only, right? Because this up to here child, from here everything is descendant for the 1. Okay, now descendant 7. Then you can specify child. You can specify child 8, or you can simply specify /. So here you have to use / whenever you are using child methods. These methods when you are using, you have to use /. Instead of using child, You can specify child with a single slash. No need to use these methods also. Same thing you can write like this. Okay. Okay, this is forward direction. Okay, from backward direction, I want to traverse 8 to 1. How I can do that? How I can do that from 8 to 1? You need to start with 8. /8. From 8 you are starting. You have to go to 1. Shortcut path. You can directly use / ancestor 1. Or if you want to go to backward direction, /8 /parent. Parent is what? For 8, 7 is the parent. / again parent. For 7, what is the parent? 6. 6 is the parent. / again for 6, 4 is the parent. Parent 4 / again for parent 4, parent 1. What you can do is here, you can remove the hierarchy. /8, okay, / ancestor 4. When you use ancestor, it directly come to from 8 to 4, it will come. Okay, then its parent 1. Okay, so if you want to skip everything, you can use this notation. Okay. So now you are at 6, position 6. You want to go to 5 or you want to go to 11. How I can go? Now I am 6 to 5 or 6 to 11. You want to go 6 to 5 or 6 to 11. How I can write the Xpath? How I can write the Xpath for 6 to 5 or 6 to 11? So for all your 5, 6, 11, parent 4 is the, 4 is the parent, which means for 4, all these are children, which means these 3 are brothers and sisters, right? So 6 is having 2 siblings. One is preceding sibling and another one is following sibling. Okay, if you want to go to the 5 preceding sibling, how you have to do the path is, how to write the path is, you are at 6, you want to go to preceding sibling, sibling, you can specify 5. Or if you want to go to 11, you have to use 11 is the following sibling for you. After you, it is coming, right? That is the reason following sibling is the 11. Or you can simply say following. Same thing you can write, or you can simply, instead of using following sibling, you can also use following 11. Okay, so if you want to go to 3, from 4 to 3, 4 to 3, if you want to go to 4 to 3, how you can go? From 4 to 3, how we have to go? Okay, this is a little bit, think of this. 4 to 3. 4 to 3 you want to go. How we can go? Somebody tell me how we can go to 4 to 3. Do we need to go to 1, then 2, then 3? Or can we directly go to 2, then 3? What is the path? Shortest path?
No, we can't go to 3 directly. First we go to parent 1.
Parent 1. Can't we go to like 2?
No. See,
Why?
for 4, 1 is the parent, right?
That is fine. See how we are going from 6 to 5.
Okay,
we are
siblings,
going-
preceding siblings.
Can we go to 4 to 2?
Yeah, by using preceding sibling. Yes.
Yeah.
4
So
to 2 you can
instead
go.
of going to shortest path, I'm asking. Okay. So I'm not asking for the path. I'm asking for the shortest path. Okay. So you no need to go to 1. You can directly go to 2. From there you can go to children. Okay. How you can write the path is from 4. You can directly go to preceding sibling. Preceding hyphen sibling. Okay. Then what is your preceding sibling? 2 is the preceding sibling. Okay. Inside 2, you have 3. You can specify directly like this, or you can use child method also. Okay. Getting or not? Suppose if you want to go to 6 to 3, how we can go? Okay, 6 to 3. This is think and give the answer. 6 to 3. How you can go to 6 to 3? There are 2 paths. There are 2 paths. You can go to 4, then go to preceding sibling, 2, then go to 3. Or you can directly jump to ancestor, then directly jump to descendant. Okay. Paths. So you can directly use 6. You're starting with 6, /6. Its parent 4, then preceding sibling 2, then 3. This is one path. The same thing you can write. You can directly go to ancestor 1, and you can directly go to descendant 3. You can also write like this. Are you understanding the concept or not?
Yes, yes. It is easy to
Yes.
understand.
Easy, right? It is easy,
Yes,
right? Easy to
understood.
understand.
The
Okay,
diagram is easy.
okay, diagram is giving the very good understanding, right? It's clear,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So similarly, if you want to perform the operations, so suppose if you want to go to 10 to 3, you can directly use 10 to 3. Let me write 10 from 10 to 3. How I can go? Okay. You can directly go to ancestor 4, then preceding sibling 2, then come to children 3. Or you can directly use ancestor to 1, then come to 3. Okay. So 10 to 3, how we can go? Or 8 to 3, how we can go? So 10 to 3, if I want to go, I can directly /10 ancestor. What is ancestor? 1 is the ancestor, right? Descendant 3. If I want to go to from 8 to 3, from here to 3, 8 to 3. So simply you start with 8, and again the same notation you copy here. So these are the shortest paths we have to write. Okay, you have an option to jump to some node, some path. Okay, how we can jump fastly? Okay, is the matter here. Okay, if you are able to understand this, okay, let me take one example from here, 1 or 2 examples, then I will close the session. So now I am at HTML, right? I'm HTML. I want to directly jump to option. How I can jump from HTML to my option? Simply you can use /descendant option. See, so whenever you are using descendant, okay, whenever you are using descendant, no need to use descendant method for descendant. No need to use descendant method. whenever you want to jump to descendant, just simply put double slash. Okay, you can also replace this with the, or you can simply replace with double slash. No need to use descendant. Double slash. So let me remove descendant here. It will work. Skipping some hierarchy. Okay. So let me write the same thing in here. Okay, instead of using descendant, simply use the shortest path. So you can remove this also directly. Okay. Here also remove descendant. No need to use descendant. You can replace with double slash. Okay. Let me use here also. Same thing. Don't use descendant. You have a direct option double slash. Here, save. Double slash 1, double slash 8. How we are using for our example here, the same thing. Okay. So now I have select. There are two selects, right? We have two selects. Okay, I want to select the option India, which is there in the country select. Country select box. You can simply write double slash. Select, you are getting two selects. To differentiate, we have method, we have property name equals to, what is the name? The name is country select, right? Country select. So it has some children. Name. Country select. It has children. You can directly simply specify as option. Okay, which contains text. What is the text? I want to select Canada. That Canada element it will be. Okay. So text, whenever you are using text, only text method, use equal symbol. Okay, like this you can write. You are using child method here. Child. Child method. So whenever you are using child method, no need to use child method also. You can simply use single slash. Okay, if you want to use child also you can use, or you can simply use single slash. You can represent with double slash. The same thing you can write without child method also. Okay. So I want to identify, okay, here personal details is there, right? Personal details. Now I am in this div location. From div location, I am at span 4. Okay. From input, from this input to, I want to go to this particular personal details tag. Okay. How I can go is input 4. Okay. So you can write directly, you can start with input, but so we have so many inputs. We have so many inputs in this DOM. I want to identify, name this input. Okay. If I want to differentiate all these inputs, all are having the same properties. All are having same properties. How I can differentiate this input then? Either using index, because if I use all these properties, again I will get more than one input, but I want only one input, this one. I can use the index, but I don't want to go with the index. What we can do is nearby element help also we can take. So nearby element help is nearby element name 4. Okay, double slash my element is span. It contains text equals to name 4. So input for span 4, what is the input? It is a following sibling. Following hyphen. Following hyphen sibling input. See, it is giving only that input. From here, you want to go to the H3 element. Here, hierarchy. Let's see the hierarchy. For this input, parent is the div. Okay, parent is the div. For this div, there is no parent, right? So for your parent, H3 is the sibling. For your parent, H3 is the sibling. You can say parent div, okay, and preceding sibling, preceding hyphen sibling. What is that? H3 element. This is one path. Okay, this is one of the paths. Okay, following sibling, preceding sibling, parent, all these covering in this part only. And the ancestor also I will cover here. Okay, ancestor also I will cover here. You can write the path like this, or if you want to skip this parent div or preceding sibling, simply you can say, what you can say, ancestor. Ancestor is 3. Ancestor. Okay, so okay, it will not be a ancestor. Ancestor will be body. Okay, it is not ancestor. Okay, parent, then you have to go through the parent only. It is not ancestor. Body will be ancestor, HTML will be ancestor, but H3 is not ancestor. Or you can do one thing. Ancestor can be anything slash H3. You can also write like this. The ancestor can be anything. And inside ancestor, you should have H3 element. That properties also you can specify if you want to specify. Okay, now coming to our real example. So my requirement is I want to identify this particular last name element. So with which element help I can take? Tell me somebody. With which element help I can take to identify the last name? Okay, let me take last name because it is near to my input. Okay, double slash. So last name is a label element. Label text equals to last name. Sorry, last name. Okay, so for this I have, if I say following hyphen sibling double slash, if I put star, I will get so many elements. I have 51 following sibling elements, 51. But I want input. Okay, differentiate with input. You have 8 inputs. Okay, 8 inputs. So what you have to do is, I want to identify the only this input. Okay, hidden element also I don't want to put. You can say input properties you can define. You don't have any properties, right? But for hidden element you have properties. Okay, so you can say not method also you can use, not hidden. Which element it is giving? When you use not hidden, it is giving the other following siblings. Instead of hidden elements, other elements it is giving. Okay, so now you can put position. No need to use more square brackets, and you can say and position equals to 1. Which element it is giving? It is giving some, okay, not element, not hidden, and also we are specifying, right? And when we are using and directly here, it is not taking. So let me put index. Index also it is taking. Not hidden. HIDDEN. Yes. So it has to display which is not containing the hidden. But why it is okay? So whenever you are using some property, so we must specify with at the rate. At the rate. So now you can specify position. Position also equals to 1. See, position equals to 1. Why it is not showing? Position equals to 1, 2. If I give, it is giving the okay. Okay. So we must specify with index 1. We can write the Xpath like this, or you can use one more way. You can use one more way. What is that? You have one more element, last full name element, right? For the full name, you don't have any other input elements, right? So you can say full name. Instead of following sibling, you can use preceding sibling. Preceding icon sibling. Input not hidden at the rate 1, but here we need to put some space. Yeah, this is also you can use. So you can take the help of this full name and you can traverse back preceding element. Okay, so like that we can form the Xpaths using access methods. Is it clear? Is it clear or not? Suppose I don't want to specify the full name. You can use contains method. Contains text some full. See, it is giving. I don't want to specify the label also. I don't want to specify the label. Put star. Okay, here preceding. I don't want to specify the input. Again, it will give BR and every label it will give, but I want to take only input. Yeah. So like this also you can specify your element with star. Like that we can write different Xpaths using all these methods. Did I miss anything from here? Preceding, following also we have used. Following sibling also we have used. Preceding, descendant, child, parent, ancestor also we have used. Right? Ancestor. See here. Okay, like this we can write our Xpaths. And one more thing, hidden, you can put, or also you can put, or not, or not. Not, when you are using not is a method. At the rate name. See, this hidden input, it has ID, right? You can put ID. It is giving. You can specify using R also. And R also. And also you can use. If you use and also, it will give the same input. Okay. Are you able to understand this? Are you able to follow this? How I am writing the Xpath? Please confirm. Okay, let me stop recording.
Yes, follow it.